So yeah, welcome to day three. JC, we talked a lot about um, putting together the foundations day one. Yesterday we went even deeper. Today I know we're gonna get a bit more advanced on the sales side of things, and we're gonna talk a lot about some cool things that you guys are doing. But JC, welcome back, man. I know Karen
Thanks.
is over there somewhere. Is she gonna be part of
She
today's
may
session
step
at
in a little
all?
bit and go back and
Okay.
forth. She likes to stay on the product side. So, but I love this is gonna be fun.
Awesome. So, what do you have for us today? What's the agenda? What can we expect? And I know those of you that didn't get to maybe watch day one and two, I recommend you go back through the replays. There's a lot of content and strategies that we talked about. But give us the agenda for today.
We're talking about the sexiest part of all of this, and that's making money is really what we're gonna be doing, right? So, as you said, yesterday was about product. What are we gonna sell today? How are we gonna go sell it? How are we gonna tackle it? And most people get most excited about this part. You're gonna see in my strategies, like I am, again, I want to build a stable business, is something that's actually scalable. And I'm going to show you how we've done this. We've done this with franchises, with white label. We've coached clients, and we have an inner circle with you have to be at $1 million to be in our inner circle. This is what the big folks do in the beginning. And if they did it, they're wishing they would have, right? And so I'll give these to you guys. And it's really a roadmap to how do I get where I'm making $250,000 a year in profit with one employee. Like that's what it really looks like. And that's the power of selling the SaaS stuff versus the SEO and PPC and all this other stuff. You're gonna build a really, really sexy business. So, but where does it start, and then where does it phase into?
I
And we're
love
gonna get
that.
very technical as too, Paulson. So there's gonna be a couple parts. We're gonna have to like squint your eyes and really think about what I'm talking about. But the moment you get it, you're gonna be like, okay, now I understand. So
I love that. Let's do a quick temperature check on sales. Sales for some people, it's the best thing since, banana pudding. I'm a big fan of banana pudding.
yes.
But so for some people, it's the worst thing on earth. They hate everything about sales. Give us where you are. If you love sales, type in one in the chat. If sales is not your friend, type in two, and that's okay. What we're going to do is unpack some biases that you may have. I mean, obviously, as you build your business, you're going to have to do some sales in the beginning, whether you want to like it or not. Somebody has to represent the company to sell the thing that we're all focused on until you offload that process. JC, were you good at sales out the gate? Like, was that a natural place for you?
It's funny. I used to think, no, I'm not good at sales. And what I found is that I'm really good at serving and loving on people. And I know product. I understand what I'm selling. And so a result of that is being halfway decent at sales, right? And so I think that is the new salesperson. And all the strategies I tell you are going to be ways to build value with people and build rapport with people. I know this really big, huge company that it's called HighLevel that does this as well, right? It's all about educating, connecting, serving, and then through that, sales naturally happen, and it's an easy thing to do. So
I love it. I love
uh,
it. I went
we
ahead and
sell a
made you a
lot, but
co-host. I went ahead and made
yep.
you a co-host. You can share your slides and strategies
Okay.
and all of that if you want. So that way we can keep our conversation kind of in a good lane. Otherwise, I'll accidentally turn it into a podcast because I just get excited.
I love it. I love it. Well, guys, let's dig right in to sales here. So I want to talk about stages of business first. All right. We're going to go through this because it's important to understand as you're selling and as you're just going balls to the wall, where should your focus be? What's the real purpose of bringing on clients? We're going to talk through this, right? The time spent on these first three stages, I'm going to give 5 lead gen strategies that I'm going to tell you. I think, Paulson, you guys do this at HighLevel. Like your growth strategy is affiliates, right? Like helping
Yeah.
people help people. That's it, right? And so I believe less is more. I want you to focus on, I give you 5 here, that if you just do these 5, but do them hella good, you will grow, period. And if you don't, um, then maybe we need to work on the personality or something. I don't know, right? Then I
Yeah.
want to talk about handling objections because you will get objections, and there is a framework to this, right? By the way, you can use this with your wife as well. It's a really good little framework. I learned it from Google. And then if we have time, we'll look at some sales myths that I believe are out there. If we have time. All right. Sound good?
Yeah,
Fair?
absolutely.
All right, so we got a
And
lot of twos and some ones here in the chat, guys. If you love sales, I think you're going to like this stuff. If
yeah,
you don't like sales, you're going to have to do it anyways. All right, like this
yeah.
is a key. I know you're going to sell a great product here, but I know a lot of companies in the world that have crappy products that are really big. But I know no companies that have incredible products that suck at sales, right? Like there's none, right? So
Yeah.
you gotta own it and get over it. So the first thing I will tell you guys is that when we're talking about solving people's problems, we have to realize that people make decisions emotionally, not logically. Now, we like to think we make logical decisions, but we don't. We don't in how we spend money. We don't in how we act, how we work, when we build a house, when we buy a car. Everything is done on an emotional standpoint. So as we're thinking about sales and we're thinking about connecting with people and serving people, we want to really make foremost we want to make foremost thought into the emotional state, the emotional connection. So I don't want to just know that the roofer, the plumber, whoever I'm talking to wants to grow their business. I don't really just want to know that they need a CRM. What I want to know is, man, they've got 3 kids that are about to go to college and they're trying to figure out how to put them through college. I want to know that this guy is saving up for a ring to buy and to propose to his wife. I want to know the things that are driving behind, because if you can understand those things, guys, in every single strategy that we go through is going to dramatically impact the way you connect and ultimately the way you sell. So here's going to be a really technical part. All right. You guys just hang in with me here. But if you get this, I promise you, I think it changes the way we think about growth. So I'm going to break this down into 4 categories. There's a lot more that I talk about later in other series. We can have another deal on this, but there's 4 here to the start. So the first one is the starter. These, you guys that are thinking about the high level business, you're doing 0 to 3K in revenue. You're just getting started. Then I go into a solopreneur, and I specifically name this because, to be frank, I don't think you should hire anyone until you do 10K or more. Oh, but JC, I'm not a product guy. Get over it. Why? Why do I say this? Because if you hire someone else to do it, how are you going to know if they're doing a good job? How are you going to know if they're like, Paulson, I'm sorry, but it took me 3 days to build that email campaign. And Paulson's like, what? With HighLevel, you can build that in 30 minutes. It did not take you 3 days. How are you going to know this if you don't do a little bit, if you don't play and learn the system, right? Boutique, we're hiring our first person, right? And then small, we're getting up to 50 grand in revenue, right? So these 3 different phases. Now, here's the really cool part, because at the end of the day, top line, you get these awards back here. HighLevel's on with these awards, these Inc. 5000. It's all about top line. It's vanity metric. I could not care less how the top line looks, except for the fact that it correlates to the bottom line. And you should be profiting in this first category at 3,000 in revenue at HighLevel. You should be profiting $28,000 a year. $28,000 a year is what you should be profiting, because it's such huge margins. But you can see here down at the bottom, with just 1 employee, 275. All right, let's break this down a little bit more. I want to show you guys this in the starter phase. And this is important because it's going to tie into how you guys sell and how you learn to sell. In the starter phase, your number one goal is not to get to 3K. Your number one goal is to learn what you want to sell, what you want to do. You're going to learn that there's so many things within HighLevel. You're going to be like, man, I'm not really good at positioning that product. Let me just take that out. I don't even want to, we're not even going to talk about it. You're going to find that, hey, you know what? I don't like dealing with roofers. These guys suck. They're just terrible human beings. You're going to learn. But in this phase, it's important, again, because I'm going to show you a schedule here in a minute. Focus more in this phase on just learning the product, learning the system, learning about how to deal with people, learning how to onboard. I can teach you all day long how to play basketball, but until you pick one up and start shooting the ball, it's irrelevant. The tactical goal is I want you to serve 20 people. I don't even care what they pay you. Paulson may disagree with this one. I may get some flack later,
No,
but I don't even
actually,
care what they pay you.
yeah, actually, in our masterminds, we kind of changed our song a little bit based on the data we found. Now I tell people, don't focus on anything but just serving until you get past that 25 client mark. Same thing with
Yes,
niching down. Don't
yes,
niche down until you get to a certain point. You have at least served like 25 clients, and then you can
yes.
decide where you like to work. And those are
Yeah,
two things that I myself have changed my attitude
I
on
love it.
because we're like, man, this is an easier way to launch a SaaS platform as an agency if you
Yeah.
just give yourself more freedom.
Yeah. So in this first phase, I honestly don't care what you charge, but to get out of this phase, I need you to have 20 clients and I need you to have an average revenue. ARPA stands for average revenue per account of 150. Okay. Now that could be a couple clients you're giving to it for free because you're just learning. I have served so many nonprofits for free, and I can't tell you one business that I've started in the past where I didn't do a little bit of work for free because, to be frank, I didn't know enough to really charge. I needed to learn more. All right. But I want you, in order to get out of this phase, 150 bucks, I think if you have this strategy, you should be able to hit 20 clients in 60 days if you're doing it full time. If you're doing it part time, cut this sucker in half, right? Now, who would not love to add $30,000 in annual profitability to their business? Now, during this time, you spend about 40% of your time on growth. As you gain clients, 40% on product operations. We're going to go over that in a second. So let's add the other phase here, solopreneur. In this phase, please hear me when I say this, guys. You got your 20 clients. A lot of you will be like, I'm too busy. So what do? You go hire another person because you're too busy. No, 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 no. We don't want to duplicate $3,000 in revenue per employee. We don't want to do that. What are you going to do? You're going to solidify your clients. You're going to take your clients where you have an average $150 in ARPA here, and you're going to bring it up to 300. So how do you do that? Well, you talk to your free clients. Hey, we did all this work. You're getting a ton of value. I'm getting full. I'm going to have to increase my pricing. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't do that. Okay, well, let me find somewhere else that can serve you. I'm going to bring in a new client. And all you're going to do in this deal is you're going to get to $9,000 in revenue. I think this phase will take you about 5 months because now you're learning how to handle 30 clients. They're all paying you $97,000 in profitability. No employees making $100,000 a year. You're in the top percentile of the United States just right here alone. You're not even getting started. Now, in this phase, as you deck out and you got 30 clients, you're managing them all, you're going to be spending only about 25% of your growth, of your time on growth, 65% of your time on product, and 10% of your time on operations. We're going to come back to this in a second, but then we get into the boutique. That's when we hire someone else. In my opinion, that person should be managing clients, managing the product, managing the clients, and they're going to manage your 30 smallest clients. You're going to manage the top 15. We're going to talk about that here in a second. Again, we get up to 137 in the fourth phase. In the fourth phase is where you get to 275, excuse me. Just two account managers. Those two account managers are each managing 30 clients each. But you can see here how in each phase, I'm increasing my average revenue. $27,000 a month in revenue. You should be at about 80% profits. You multiply that sucker out. Boom, here we go. This is the business model you want. I built Hite, guys. Now my commitment is to employ people. So I built a business that has a lot of team members. I love the service industry, but it is not the best business model. It's not the best profitability machine. It's really great for what I want, but most of you guys don't want that. Most of you guys don't want 22 kids at your house. You want two or three. I'm the idiot that wants 22 children in my family, right? Okay, let's dig into this a little bit further because this is important because as you start to sell, what am I selling and how am I pricing it? So this is just an example of that starter. I just broke this into a 40-hour. So think of each one of these blocks as just a block of time. I'm going to tell you that I think you should spend about an hour on each client every week. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean the system. It could be innovating what they're doing. It could be emailing them and going, hey, I want to test this new product with you. Can I do that? It could be just sending them an update. It could be checking in. It could be, I want you to spend an hour a week on each client. So you can see here, I've got some that are free. because I'm just getting started. I got some that are $100, one that's 50. And then I even started towards the end of the 20, I started bringing out some 297s. But you could see here that my ARPA, just with this group, is $151, 20 clients, 3,000 in total revenue, and it should equate to about 28,000 a year in profit. Does that make sense? Now, what are we doing
Absolutely.
in this next phase? All I'm doing is I'm just replacing those clients. I'm solidifying my foundation that I want to scale. So as I do that, I'm increasing my client count. I'm trying to get up to about 30 clients here, 10 hours on sales, learning, operations. But the bulk of my time here is solidifying my SOPs when it comes to my clients and my service, because that I'm going to teach someone else to do. But I want to know it so well before I teach someone else. So you notice here, I've got way less free ones. I only got one free one. I only got a couple $100 ones. But now you notice in here, I got a 997 here. I'm starting to increase. I'm solidifying that foundation. Now, again, what do I've got? Now I want to duplicate. So now this top one here is your account manager. I'm going to give them all my small clients. I'm going to take my biggest one. I'm going to keep 15. And this is where you get into this. You're profiting $137,000 a year on this framework. And Paulson already knows this, but one account manager can handle a heck of a lot more than 30 clients. I'm being very kind with that. I'm being very kind that they're going to have time to learn. They're going to have time to overserve. They're going to be looking online at Amazon to send gifts to the clients every month. They're going to be doing a lot of stuff to, you're going to be overwhelmed with customer service, which is what I like. All right.
Yeah, yeah. Let's pause for a quick
Yeah.
second here. So here's my observation from spending, I don't know, countless hours with agency owners and JC the same thing. They run a lot of events. We get to talk to a lot of marketers. And if you look at the starter package and the solopreneur package, call it whatever you want. Let's just call it phase one and two, right? The difference is your ability to expand each offer for
That's right.
each client. So what that
That's right.
means for those of you that are, let's say, SaaS oriented or SaaS hybrid oriented, idea is to get your foot in the door of the business with a simple tech stack. Simple tech
That's right.
stack. So it could be, for example, we do the 5-day challenge on teaching people how to use reviews to get in front of the door of a small business. And then what happens in a couple of days? Sometimes this expansion is even shorter, but idea there would be for you to turn on simply funnels or AI chat widget or Yext or listings or whatever, just to expand as a complementary package to the original sales offer, right? Let's think of y'all. Are you following me? Give me a one in the chat if you're following me. What we're describing is you don't have to go get more clients per se. You just have to right size your clients before you scale. That's really what we're saying,
Right.
right? JC, tell us about the boutique style. This is where things get a little complex because now you're asking someone else to represent your business. And I'm getting PTSD reminders of like building a team inside my agency of like where we were. But yeah, doing 2 rounds of that, you learn a lot. Keep going, keep going. Let me
I
get out of the
think
way.
we could do a whole session. Like I am really, I've been very blessed to build a team that is really good at hiring and firing and, these type of things. And HighLevel's done a great job at hiring incredible people. Business is really easy until people get involved. All right. And I think, honestly, I think maybe we're phasing out of this. I feel like the last 5 years, employee count has been just a real, oh, I can't wait to get someone else to do. I can't wait. You don't realize how complex and difficult this is. But by doing these stages, you are going to know everything you can expect from that team member. There's going to be so much value, right? And so I say this, why is this a part of the sales deal? Because you notice these numbers of what I'm selling, and Paulson hit the nail on the head, right? We're giving this, and this is why I spend an hour with each client. I just listen. I was on a client call just a few minutes ago with I'm never on calls with in clients, but it was someone that he specifically wanted to talk to me because they were a friend of a friend, and I'm just listening. But what does she tell me? She's like, "Yeah, JC, I have all these leads, but I'm not doing anything with them. Email marketing." And then she's like, oh, and the other company, they never send me the report. They never, okay, we need better reporting. We got all that right there in the CRM. And then like literally, I'm just like, so how does that, what do you do then? How does that work? Well, what are you gonna do? Hey, we could just we could just turn this on for you. We actually have that, right? And I tell you what, let's test it for 20 days or 15. I won't even charge, but and then if it works, then I'll charge $100 a month. Let's see what happens, right? There's a ton of frameworks when it comes to upselling and cross-selling clients that are ridiculously huge. And that's exactly what we're talking about here, right?
Yeah.
I will tell you, well, anyways, I'm not going to tell you. This is a boutique. I could have added the small agency as well, but this is a great start, guys. If you're doing 100, there is, I believe, business is so much like a drug. Making money is so much like a drug. Like you just want more and more. This right here stage is so undervalued in today's world. This is an incredibly amazing business to make 137,000 a year and have one employee and have ridiculous amounts of freedom because you could still upsell all these other clients, right? Like you could still, weed them out slowly and get every client where they're paying you $500 plus. There's a lot of value right here. Okay. How do we sell though? Because that's really what it's about. So how do we get this first phase, right? You're trying to get the free ones. You're trying to get the 199s. We're learning. We're scaling. How do we grow? All right. I will tell you some of this stuff. There's one or two up here that you're gonna be like, I've seen that. I've heard that, right? I will tell you there's a reason why you see and hear it a lot is because it's just go do it. You got to take action. I love the personal fitness world, but it's a interesting industry because it's so simple, the solution, right? Like, why do I need a personal trainer? Just eat less sugar and move. Like, that's it. Like, that's the formula. There is no way around it. You've got to get out there. You got to get in front of people. There is no magic pill. You have to go put in the work. So I'm going to tell you 5 things that I do. I'm going to give you a ChatGPT deal, and we're going to keep pushing this on. I think we're doing okay on time.
Yeah,
So
we're
here's
good.
the 5. Here's the 5. Social media, guys. And I'm telling you, don't laugh. Like, oh, you got to do it. This is how I grew my entire company. ESO engagement. All right. Podcast and YouTube, long form content. Holy cow. I am in love with YouTube right now. And I'm going to share with you guys a 30-day challenge on YouTube that a mentor of mine gave that I know works a ton with HighLevel. Virtual seminar. And we have a really cool thing there, and then in person. And then I also put little check marks here. If you're in the starter, again, it's more about what you don't do than what you do. Don't worry about the other stuff. You don't need it right now. You don't need it to go get $100 clients. You don't need it to go get 50. If you just simply do the ESO strategy and the social media strategy I'm going to share with you, you will get there. Just do them hella good. You don't need to do in-person workshops if you're only doing $5,000 a month in revenue. I'm going to say this, you're not worthy to go do them because you don't have enough experience to go do them in some ways. All right. So, okay, here's the deal. I think number one question that I have is like, why do people not post? Right. And so there's 2 reasons that we found. Number one is the fear of what other people think. My favorite quote that I repeat all the time is I'm not who I am. I'm not who I think I am. I'm not who you think I am. I am who I think you think I am. Okay, wait. I'm not who I think I am. I'm not who you think I am. I am who I think you think I am. What does that mean? Have you ever walked down the grocery store and you see someone and your mind goes to like, oh, I don't think they like me, or I don't think they da 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 da. You ever walk around and you're like, you just believe what someone else might believe. You don't know for sure. And a lot of times this gets in my head. For me, when I'm about to make a post, I'm always like, I wonder what my dad would think. And then I do where I don't post based on what I think he would think, right? How stupid is that crap? And for me, that quote just reminds me to just shut up and just go do it, right? Number 2, I hear this so much, JC, but when I post, only 50 people see my reel, only 100 people see my. So I just wanted to show this to you guys because I think today's world is a little bit vanity with this numbers. Am I sharing this? Can I go to another deal here? Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
Also?
Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is what a room of 50 people look like. had someone just the other day. They were like, oh, I only get 40 or 50 people that see each reel. This is 50 people watching your freaking content. This is a good sized room. You can sell in this room. In fact, you could sell a lot in this room. In fact, I just think it's nice. This is what 100 people look like. A lot of you guys would be scared peeing your pants if you talked in front of 100 people. Yet, when 100 people see us online, oh my goodness, that's not because we are used to hearing these millions, billions, virality, all this type of stuff. Here's what 150 people look like. Here is what 200, and I just think it's good to go in and just get some perspective. I did a reel just a few seconds ago, and if I think about the importance of my content in this crowd, I would be very particular with my content. This is a really big deal. So many of you are not posting because you believe that's not enough. It doesn't take a lot to go a long ways when it comes to posting. All right, let's keep going here. Social media, there's only 4 points. You just put them on your calendar, right? I showed you a schedule a while ago. You have to be doing this stuff every day like it's your job to do it. All right. So number 1, posting every day. I do a static post, so like a picture and long form content, and every single day I do a reel. My reels, I'm loving YouTube again. My reels are getting anywhere from 1,000 to 2,000 views, but you then add that stuff up. Every platform, every system. I mean, right now, even we've got 100 people here, 200 people there, 300 people there watching right now in this moment. They all add together. So short form, long form. Every single week, I do one long form content. All right. And then here's where it gets really big, guys. Wherever you're selling, if you're niching down in a niche or a community, I prefer communities. You just got to befriend people. You got to get outside the box every single day, send 5 friend requests. At the end of the year, what is that? That is 1,800 new friends that all see your content, that all see what you're doing. Now, but it doesn't start there. Just every single day for 30 minutes, go engage. Just jump on Facebook. You're already doing it probably 2 or 3 or 4 hours a day because that's what the data tells us. Spend 30 minutes intentionally engaging with every single post. If you are skipping someone because you don't like them or they're weird, then delete them as a friend. Don't even have them. Just go through and start engaging with everyone. What does that do to the algorithm? Well, oh, thanks for liking my thing. What do you do? Paulson, if you post online something and someone that you kind of know but hadn't seen in a while comments on your post, what's the first thing you do?
You typically reply. And
you reply.
get
You go to their
excited.
profile like, hey, what are they up to these days? Hello. Okay, so if you're posting every day, you're telling people what you do, and you go engage, your page views are going to automatically do so much. I will tell you right now, I have friends that they're running $1 million agencies, and this is all they do. And then I talk to new people that are doing, and they're like, oh, that's stupid. They feel that it's too simple. If you're not doing this consistently, you have no business, in my mind, I think, doing the other stuff. All right. Content wizard. So a lot of you guys are going, oh, I struggle with what to say. I don't know what to say, all this type of stuff. So I have this ChatGPT, which this is going to play back in our presentation here in a second. You can have this if you want to. It's really simple. I just created on ChatGPT. Anybody can create it. It's not super complex, but it's got some really cool things in it. The second thing, and I'm going to show you how that works, by the way. The second thing is download this app, especially if you're someone who's not really great at just off the cuff speaking about something. You're like, man, I need a script. Download this app. What it does is when you're recording your video, you turn this on, put the script in there, and you can literally read the script while the video is playing. It's literally a teleprompter. It's amazing. It's amazing. So if you guys do this, I'm just going to show y'all real quick. And I know everyone on here is super into ChatGPT, but I want to show you guys, some of you guys are new to this stuff. So when you go to this, and shoot me a message on Instagram if you needed another route, all you gotta do is answer the questions about your agency, right? About your business.
Do you mind zooming into maybe 144 or 200 is good? Yeah, 200 is good. Yeah.
So all you're gonna do is answer these questions, right? So tell me about your business. Don't worry about punctuation. Don't worry. I mean, just type it in, right? So I just did a realtor last time. We're gonna leave it in here for the sake of time here. But tell me about your customers, right? So small business owners, X, Y, and Z, this and that. Just answer these questions here. All you're then gonna do is you're gonna download it as a PDF. download document as a PDF, and it is going to take it right over here for me. You're going to take that and put it into the chat GPT, press enter. And what it's going to do right off the bat, guys, it's going to give you hooks. All right. So again, I have this set up as my roofer. Oh, by the way, we're going to talk about lead magnets in a minute. Take this that I'm giving you, copy it, put your logo on it, and then give it to all the small businesses in your town. We're going to come back to that, but just I want you thinking about it already here. Because if you go to a roofer or a plumber or anyone, you're telling them, hey, you need to be posting content. They're going to be like, yeah, but I don't know what to say. Here you go. Okay. So again, this is going to host all this stuff. You guys know this, but hey, I don't like 9. I don't like 10. I like number 6. Can you change number 5? Whatever you want to do. I'm going to say this looks good. Right. And now it's going to create these 30 to 60 second scripts and everyone. And you can say, hey, make it more simple, make it where it doesn't, only takes 1 frame. You can tell it anything you want to. Again, no excuses. Just go and make it happen, guys. All right. So copy paste this, put it in your teleprompter, or if like just read it and just say it in front of the camera. But this is going to actually tell you everything about the script that you possibly need, right? So again, we're going to talk about lead magnets here in a second for us, but just make sure you have this page. Make sure you have this page, guys. All right. We're going to come back to it here in a second. Content wizard. All right. Lead magnet. Here we are. Lead magnet. What I just gave you is a lead magnet. Take that lead magnet, the ChatGPT wizard, and change it over, put your brand, your logo, your everything, and now you have something for small business. This is another one. So we did this the other day. Karen did this. So first, you create a post, right, in your community. All of these communities have like little subgroups, right? So I live in Searcy, Arkansas. So there's a My Searcy Facebook group that has whatever 1,000 people. There's a Searcy for Life. There's like 20 of them, right? If you go in there and you say, did you get access to our 90-day or our free ChatGPT that helps you create content? Hey, who would like access for this? Look at this. Karen did this post the other day. Did you get access to our 90-day game plan for virtual assistants? 343 comments. Hello? Those are my leads now. I've got opportunities coming in the door. All she does is she sends it to them. Hey, here you go. No problem. Hey, did anybody else need access? Hey, I did a workshop the other day, or I did a training the other day on X, Y, and Z. Would anybody like that recording? All you're doing is you're trying to get people to interact with you. So all Karen does is she sends them over here, and then she starts talking. So as soon as she sends them the magnet, as soon as she sends them the value, hey, do you already have virtual assistants? What's happening? Hey, oh, by the way, I'm actually thinking about doing a 4-day challenge here in a couple of weeks. Or, hey, I am going to be doing a 4-day challenge. Now, all of a sudden, she builds this landing page like this. You can build all this in HighLevel, right? And now we're getting people to an actual event to show up. So I went from a question in a Facebook group, giving them value, to now saying, hey, I'm actually going to do a course on this. I'm going to do a training on this. I'm going to do a webinar on this. I'm going to do whatever on this, and I can actually teach you. Now, I recommend, as you can see here, Karen did something really good here. She went out and found strategic partners to put on that webinar with her. So what ends up happening? Your conversion rate's even more. Hey, do you know Matt? Do you know Molly? Do you know Sam? Of course you do. We're all in the community. So now everyone gets even more excited about coming to this deal. So this is kind of how we've approached lead magnets, right? You can do the same exact thing with the lead magnet I just gave you with the ChatGPT. You have my permission to put your logo and do anything you want to. Question? Have you guys been using ChatGPT to help you create posts? I just got a great PDF on it. I just learned a lot about it. Everyone's saying, no, I haven't. Yes, okay, can I get blah, blah, blah. Now answer, respond. All right, we good?
I love
Lead
that.
magnet.
I think the key thing is the most important thing in that strategy is the befriending of friends.
Yes.
Because if you don't build the right audience where you're providing value, it doesn't resonate. For example, back when I had my dental agency, I would literally befriend as many dental practice owners as possible. Like that was an
Right.
intentional thing that we did. And
Yep.
pretty soon, 5,000 people on your Facebook profile list will start seeing your value drops in their news feed. If you just add a bunch of digital marketing friends, it doesn't it's not going to give you sales, right? So you need to focus on the befriending as the key pillar to really pay attention to there.
Yeah, and I don't. This is just a personal opinion. I have seen a lot of people do the friend, and then 2 seconds later they message or one day.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't
yeah.
message anything. I let them
Okay.
come to me. I know that they're seeing my stuff, right? Or one day this is why you engage, right? One day I see their post and I'll comment on it, right? But I recommend don't doing the automation, text things
Yeah.
here, right? So, and by the way, with these lead magnets, my team, I have a goal of trying to create one new lead magnet every month. And it's just a free resource. It could be a free training, it could be a video, it could be a document, it could be whatever you want it to be. But I'm trying to get them. And all I'm doing, guys, is I'm listening to the problems that people say. Hey, I never do email marketing. Okay, can I do a training on that? Hey, I never do that. Can I do a train? Can I do it? Everything as a solution, right? Okay. ESOs, entrepreneurial support organization. I actually didn't know this word existed until about a month ago. I was doing this strategy and I didn't, somebody asked me at the state level, I had a call with the state and she goes, would you like to be on our ESO call? And I was like, yeah, but what is that? Entrepreneurial support organization. So this is associations, chambers, societies, anybody that's a nonprofit or not for profit, could be someone that is not, that serves the entrepreneurial community. And whatever state you're in, there are a stupid amount of organizations that service entrepreneurs. You need to be in those rooms. Guys, the cool thing about HighLevel, I believe one of the cool things is that when I was again, we still do digital marketing. That's where I make most of my money. So I'm telling you what I would do differently, right? If I go into a room and say I do SEO or digital marketing, so does a billion other people. Like it's just not as sexy as what it was, right? Instead, I'm talking about, yeah, I mean, we help companies get more revenue. Like, tell me about your marketing. And then they tell me where their struggles. They tell me, and there is rarely a client that doesn't talk to me about their problems that HighLevel won't solve in some way. I need to show up more on Google. I need better reviews. I'm having trouble converting. I don't know the data. Like, it just keeps going on. And I guarantee you're going to listen and you're going to be able to then circle back to, hey, I've got a product. If you're in phase one, I got a product I wouldn't even mind testing with you. I've been doing some stuff and I serve a couple of business for you. Now, as you get to phase two, then now we're going into a pitch, right? Like you're going to get more sophisticated. Hey, I've got 7 or 8 clients that do email marketing with me. I'd love to show you what I can do. Would that be cool? Right? As you really get going, hey, I've got one spot left, right? But these organizations, I will tell you, when I first moved back to the US, I didn't participate in them. I didn't want to go. Yesterday I was at one and there was only 12 people in the room. It was a society. There wasn't even a real, network. And it was amazing. It was amazing. Like these are real entrepreneurs doing real things, right? And so again, I'm there to serve, I'm there to love, I'm there to help, I'm there to communicate and talk. Eventually, we'll get to the subject that makes sense for our business. Eventually, you will find something that you can definitely serve them on. Okay, we're gonna keep moving forward here, guys. The next one is YouTube. All right. I mentioned YouTube and I'm going to put parentheses podcast. I'm actually, even if you do a podcast, I prefer it just live on YouTube personally. Here's one thing that's dramatically changing in all of the algorithms. 2 years ago, what we taught everyone and what we knew as far as the algorithms worked was that Facebook, Instagram, so on and so forth would basically take your video and show it to 10, 20, 30 people. And if it did well, then they would show it to more. If it did well, show it to more and so on and so forth. YouTube is one of the first ones to flip the algorithm. Now, sometimes can lead to different result, but it really does change the way we think. How did it flip it? Now, all of the AI is not on your video. It's just not. The AI is really on the consumer of the video. It wants to learn JC, the YouTube watcher, what is every single thing that I do? What is my action? So when I go to YouTube, it's going to show me exactly what it wants. So nowadays, what I would encourage you guys to do is who is your avatar to the detail? It's not small business owners. It's not. My avatar, for me, for example, my avatar is men of 35 years of age that are married and have 3 kids that are trying to scale their business like freaking crazy, but also are trying to provide for their families, the love on their wife, donate to the church. My avatar is businesses that have to make $1 million or more, right? And so I'm building this framework of who specifically do I talk to? Because if every bit of my messaging talks to that person, what YouTube is going to do is go find all those, every time they find those people, they're going to know that my content is perfect for them. Number two, create a content plan, guys. You think about HighLevel. What are all the problems that the business owners in your community are doing? Just every time you hear a problem, create the plan, right? Thumbnails and titles are king. I will tell you, I'm learning more and more and more and more. Like Mr. Beast spends hours upon hours upon hours. I put this picture over here. If you don't know who Daryl is, he's a big advocate for HighLevel. He does a lot of things. He is the founder of The Chosen. If you know the TV show The Chosen, he's also Mr. Beast's mentor since before Mr. Beast was Mr. Beast. Like he's been the mentor. He mentors ESPN, Bill Gates, you name it. And by the way, I even added here, if you guys want this link, how do I give it to you? DM me on Facebook and I'm going to send you, Daryl has a 30-day challenge and I'll send it to you. It's 100% free for you. And it is huge when it comes to growing your YouTube. And again, you're serving all these problems. You're helping businesses grow in your community. So thumbnails and titles are something that Daryl will hit you hard on because again, it's that click, right? And then it's the long-term. Engage, just getting on YouTube again and engaging, leveraging SEO. I recommend TubeBuddy. It has a free version and then paid versions. Call to action, right? Like if I watch your content, tell me what to do next. So often I watch videos on Instagram or Facebook or whatever. I'm like, man, who is this guy? Like I want to do more, but I don't know what to do. So have call to actions. And then is everything, analyze, right? Everything that we do. The next one, guys, and I'm really excited about this gift. This is something that, quite frankly, Karen has led the work on at Hite and is freaking crushing it. Like, this is our sales model. And so we do all the other stuff as the framework and foundation, guys. But these virtual workshops are huge in your communities. They're huge. I cannot establish enough. So we have an entire SOP on this. You guys are going to get this for free. It includes the funnel, the email template, automation, the form, the calendar. It's an entire snapshot for you guys and a whole guide on how to do virtual events. Guys, you're listening to the problems, you're having them. I'm doing events now, and I'm going to show you the next phase of this as well. We're doing virtual events, I don't know, 10 times a month. And our goal is, don't tell anyone this, our goal is like 10 to 20 people on the call. I want to see each individual. I want to call them out by name as we're talking. I want to engage with them because I know that my sales rate goes up dramatically when I can build the relationship with someone. Now, some of you guys are like, oh, but I got 600 on mine, or 500. Beautiful. All I care about is the revenue that it generates. If I don't, now it's a hobby or a donation of time, and that's a different category for me. Today we're talking about business, right? On this virtual workshop, when they sign up, it's important that as they sign up for the workshop, we do a skip the line. This has been a huge value to us. There's so often where you guys are telling and inviting people to do something down the road. What you'll end up finding out is that they're doing that, but they really want to buy from you. They kind of already have an idea and they'd love to skip the line. So we do this in all of our virtual workshops. We say, hey, skip the line deal, where they get, boom, they can get added to our calendar and go ahead and get down that sales process. Give them the opportunity to go ahead and have a call. Again, you'd be so surprised with how many people do it. How many people do it. The other thing here is the agent evaluation. So after this, in the actual call, we use Restream for all of our virtuals. And I like it. You know why? Because one, when they go to the Restream, they have to type in their information again to see it. You can see this on the right-hand side. And then two, they should see the video. Nothing else is on the landing page, right? We actually don't do them in Zoom. Nothing else is on the landing page. There's just simply a call to action at the bottom. It's literally the only button. In fact, if you haven't already signed up for your free trial on HighLevel, this is nuts crazy, like freaking do it. But you'd be able to put that call to action right there where it's the only button for people to push. What do you want them to do? How do you want them to take action? A lot of times that's a free audit or an engagement or this or that or whatever you want them to do, right? So virtual workshops. The next thing, and Karen got on to me because we didn't actually put together the SOP. We have an internal SOP. We don't have a sexy one for you guys, but if you DM me, if enough people ask for it, I will get my team to build it exactly like this. I am in love with in-person workshops, and we have this down to a stupid formula. We are doing them. I've even done them. I've done a lot myself. We've even helped other people do them, just saying like, well, maybe JC's just a good-looking dude and he just has like better than normal results. We've done them with ugly guys. We've done them with weird people. We've done them, I got a girl on my team. She has tattoos, everyone. We've made her successful. This stuff, we have it down to a science. So what we're doing is in-person workshops. We're literally holding these up in a city. We go ahead and do it. Then what we do is, I'm gonna skip that. I'm gonna come back to it. So we hold a workshop. I'm gonna have one in Cabot, Arkansas. Immediately, what I do is I build out the landing page like this, and I put it at $97 for the workshop. I want to put value on my teaching. Now you're gonna realize there's a reason why I don't do this in Starter, because I don't think you're prepared to go do a workshop yet. I think you got to learn more to be able to answer questions. Don't waste this opportunity, because you have a workshop and you're falter it, they're not going to invite you back again. They're going to be struggling. So this is why it's a step 3. It's in the phase 3 here. But I put it at $97. Then what do? I call the chamber up, say, hey, I'm going to do this workshop. My name's JC. We're on da-da-da-da-da. Here's the deal. We're going to do this workshop. I'd love to if they're a chamber member, I'd love to get it to them half off. Would that work? Okay, well, now what happens is my ads change, because now in the ads, I say, hey, I'm JC. I'm partnered up with the chamber, and this is what we're doing. And so it gives us more credibility. Also, how much does it cost me to market to the chamber? Nothing, because they're doing it for me. I'm giving that value. Now, the cool thing about this is normally we spend about $1,000 on workshops, and we get in revenue about $1,500 to $2,000 each one. I'm making money teaching. I'm making money getting leads. I'm making money in the sales process. Some people are talking to me like, JC, my cost per lead is $30. My cost per lead is negative $30. You hear what I'm saying? This is huge. So if y'all want this, you can do it on your own. DM me or something on Instagram or Facebook, and I'll put together. We run Facebook ads, so we target business owners. We target people that follow Hite, like our business pages, things like that. Past engagers, so anybody that's liked our post, engage. Hello, I'm engaging with people throughout the week, the 30 minutes. I'm retargeting people that maybe opted into the first step but didn't actually buy the ticket. There's an email sequence. We do discounts to the chamber, right? We spread the word on social media. We're doing all this type of stuff. These in-person events are huge. Now, here's the cool thing. When you start running ads, it's not just about the 20 people on average we get in a room. It's also about the 2,000, 5,000, 20,000 people that saw the ad that didn't sign up, but still saw us. They still know we're there. Too many people, they just are narrow and they just think about this group when there's a huge other group that one day you're going to talk to them and they're like, I saw you the other day. Oh man, you're the guy that you guys do the sales training. You wouldn't believe how many people see us, right? So this is that 5th phase here, right? This is that 5th product that I'm telling you as you start to do this. And by the way, you can do it in every city. I do them in my city that I'm in. I'm doing the other city, the other city, the other city. Guess what? Another city called me the other day and was like, hey, I heard you do a workshop with the other chamber. I'm like, yes, I do. Can I hear it? Boom. Now we're in that one, right? There's 50 cities within a whatever amount of radius. You can literally do. My goal, just so you guys know, Paulson, my goal is to have 20 cities that I'm doing these every other month in annually. I have 6 workshops that I created: branding, sales, AI, automation, service, and there's one more and I can't think of it right now because I'm on the spot here and I just repeat them. Boom, 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 right? Workshops. I would love to know, is anybody doing workshops like ESO, somebody's asking a question here in the chat. ESOs are entrepreneurial service organizations. So think associations in your community, chambers in your community, things like that. I would love to know I would love to know, guys, on how many people are doing local workshops in the community or virtual. All right, I would love to know that. So just type it in the Facebook do there, and we'll go from
Yeah.
there.
So,
So
so JC, real quick before we go
yeah,
any further on tracking and figuring out the results and, measuring what's success or not. Um, Couple of questions for you so we can just kind
yeah.
of, you know, make sure it's covered. If I'm brand new starting off, is it okay for me to not be the expert, but maybe think of it in the sense of like, let me facilitate, bless you. Well, let me facilitate
Oh
the
yeah,
environment, right? Because like I remember in the dental world, I would just get a panel going with five dentists, and I'm just the moderator, and they're just on. Back in the day, we had Be Live, right? So we would do Be Live interviews
yeah,
on all these socials. Like, is it okay for me to be a facilitator of an
yeah,
ESO or some kind of a group, even if I'm starting out and I
yeah.
don't feel like I have the expertise. Does that make sense?
I think it's a great question. And I've had two different thoughts in different times that I've done this. So I remember even early in our career with hosting big events, we brought in huge, famous, big people. And it was great. It helped our brand, I think, in a big way. It also could hurt it a little bit as well, right? Like who do they fall in love with at the event? Like if I'm speaking on a stage and I got Damon John speaking right beside me, who are you paying attention to more? Like I'm getting a little authority because I'm with Damon, and you're like, oh, that's cool. He must, da da da. But like, really, it's going to Damon. So I would say this: um, if you're just not ready, but you're just anxious, you're like foot's on the pedal. Like I really love this strategy. I want to go 100%. And I think what you did is a better idea than what I've even had, which is let me bring in five or six roofers and let's learn from them. Even more so if they're one of your clients that they're now a referral back, right? I would say the virtual event, starting there, getting your feet under you, all this type of stuff. I will tell you, I've seen some weird, awkward, non-social people do incredibly well speaking. And they just get really technical. They just know their stuff. They're awkward because they come off non-salesy. They come off non-pitchy, right? And so it just lowers the barrier in that room. But this is the habit that you gotta, create. The virtual one, I do recommend. I mean, I think it's really valuable to bring in other people that can strategically partner with you. And it's super easy to do so. Yeah, super easy.
I love that.
I brought in for my first workshop I did, Paulson. I asked Kevin Harrington from Shark Tank to come on and to like virtually, just like, hey, can you come in 30 minutes? I'm doing my first workshop. And like it was great. And I thought I would get lower cost per deal. And I didn't change my numbers at all. I think it was like a vanity, thought more so, but I don't know.
Yeah. So remember the key here is one thing we know in high level is as SaaSpreneurs that are starting out or agency owners or marketing professionals, if you're starting out, the key is local. Like it's totally okay to build a business around your community and go local. You don't have to go get folks from Shark Tank tomorrow because you're starting a new business. The key is to stay focused on the local and pay attention to what other events are happening. What are the other players? For example, I live in Houston in Texas. Like food blogging is like a big deal because food, it's a big industry here, and you'll see a lot of food bloggers put together events, and you can tell they have digital marketing services behind them. They run reviews, they do listings, but you can tell they have a gateway that they created. They have a following around it, but they're constantly providing value. They're like, oh, go to this restaurant. That restaurant's
Yeah.
average on service, but their food is great, or vice versa. That like they're constantly in touch with their audience, and that's a really big learning point
Yeah.
from far, just in general. Now I'm getting hungry, but keep going, keep going.
Yeah, and remember, guys, right? It's less is more. Do fewer things stupid well. Give yourself time to do this workshop, and then what went wrong? What went right? How do I change it? We're exactly in the funnel. I mean, hello, you're using HighLevel to build this funnel. You're A/B testing. If you're really smart and you could see this one work better than this one, let me do this and then create a variation. So less is more when it comes to these things, right? Um, Another thing with in-person workshops, what we've done is if they're clients of ours, they come to the workshops for free. Right. So I've got an audience there that just paid, like, hey, by the way, we do that type of stuff. We do that work. In fact, the customers that we have, you get free access to these workshops when I do them every other month or whatever. Right. So there's some
Yeah.
added value that you can bring. And there's
And
nothing
JC,
better. Mhm.
you might be getting ready to share this, but help us understand the second phase of this. What you shared is like the top of the funnel strategies of how to open the floodgates, but
Yeah.
like how are deals closed? Like, do you have appointment setters? Are they closers? Are you closing the deals? Are you self-navigating them to close deals themselves and opt in
Yep.
from the buffet lounge?
Yep.
Like, what is your sales process methodology?
My sales process personally, and again, remember, stage one, you're not allowed to have an employee. In my perspective, and I'm not nothing, because I believe that there's so much value in doing the job, because it's not a hard job, doing the job and learning the expectation. I get people that I mentor all the time, and they're like, "Oh, I just hired a closer." Well, why? I suck at closing. Again, how are you going to mentor them? How are you going to coach them? How are you going to know what KPIs they should be doing? How are you going to know what results they should have unless you've done the job at some point? So I don't. What I would recommend is, again, in that first phase, I'm doing a lot of trials, a lot of like tests. Hey, let me do it for 60 days and see what happens. One thing I will tell you, I think too many of us are try to give a false narrative, and it actually ends up hurting you. There is something beautiful about looking at another entrepreneur and go, "Hey man, I'm just getting started, dude. I would love to do this for you free. And if it works, then we can talk about price. And if it doesn't, cool." You'd be so surprised how people are just like, just out of sympathy almost. They're like, "Dude, yeah, I'd love to help," because they've been in your boat as well. And so I think in that first phase, being really real, charging $100, charging 50, charging free, right? So you get your 20 clients. Now you got to start increasing, right? You got to start solidifying that foundation, as we just talked about. I do everything hand-to-hand combat is what I call it. So with sales, I'm a listener. I actually, whenever I coach people, I don't teach them closing techniques at all. I teach them how to start the conversation. I am a big fan of, if you just have conversations with girls, you will close. You will start dating one and marry one eventually, right? Like, just the nature of communicating and talking through it and serving them through your knowledge of the product is going to be the best way to close it. So I don't have a pitch. I don't have like a specific thing. We do have a deck that we use, and if you want that, again, just DM me anything you want. I love this stuff, so I'm super happy to help and serve in any ways. But we go consultative approach, hands-on. What are you doing? Tell me the data, and then I'm offering something to them based on what
Yep.
their needs are, based on what you decided to give them. Right?
Absolutely. I mean, sales is transfer of confidence and energy at the end of the day.
That's right.
Whether you have a certain mechanics to do it, maybe it's a two call close, one call close, a slide or no slide. Maybe you're
Yeah.
in person, you got a suit on or you got a
Yeah.
cap on. It doesn't matter. Sales
Yeah.
at the end of the day is a transfer of confidence.
Yeah.
And transparency is probably the one thing people miss in how to create that confidence. And it's okay to say, I'm getting started, but here's my goal. Here's what I'm trying to achieve.
Yeah.
And just being just totally truthful that you haven't done this before is okay. I promise you.
Yeah, yeah, and it'll give you more room for error as well, right? If you're just really honest. I see too many people trying to charge high ticket pricing because that's sexy, and they don't even know what the crap they're doing. The other thing I would say, I think that if you're doing a virtual and a workshop, if you, depending on your packages and offering, if you can give away one of these features of high level to everyone in the room for 30 days or 60 days, based on what you're teaching, right? That's a huge opportunity as well. Like, hey, I'll do an onboarding session with you and give you this one feature. And then again, now I have found that if I can serve you, you will become a client of mine. I'm good at what I'm doing. I'm really great at helping businesses grow. And if you can honestly say that, which you should be able to say that, I'm really good at this. I know I can serve roofers. I know I can help them. Then I just want to be around them, because I know if I'm around them enough, they will eventually want to buy from me as long as I give them the opportunity to do so. Okay, Paulson, we got a couple more seconds here. We're going to
Yeah,
speed through a couple things. All right,
let's do it.
guys, you measure what you want to succeed in. All right. I want you guys, especially if you're starting, just how many views, think LinkedIn, just how many people are seeing you. Pay attention to that number on a monthly basis and just make sure it's going up every month. Just make sure it's going up. Engagement. How many people are engaging with you? This is not rocket science, guys. If you have 1,000 people engaging with you and then it goes to 5, should your opportunities go up? Yes, they should. And if they don't, then you're engaging with the wrong people. Okay. Measure how many leads that you're doing. I talk to people all the time. I know I've learned what questions to ask is what I've done. I talk to someone and like, oh man, I got about 100% close rate. Then I start asking them different questions. What really they mean by that is they close 100% of ideal client opportunities. And what they define as ideal client opportunities is people that say, hey, I have a bunch of money and I have no expectations and I want to pay you, right? Like, but you got to measure this stuff, because if you start to measure it, you'll start to realize that's working. I talked to a client just a couple of hours ago. She said, I'm doing billboards. How much are you paying? $300. How many clients have you got? I don't know. That's a good thing to know, because Miss Haley, if you found out that you were getting 2 clients a month, which her clients are worth $1,000 each, what would you do? Well, JC, I'd probably buy more billboards. That's pretty good. Yeah, I would. But she didn't know. And so again, you measure what you want to increase. And so I'm not going to go deep into this. HighLevel I mean, I'll be honest, a year ago, 2 years ago, this was like not amazing in HighLevel. They have dramatically changed the way they track. And again, this is a cool thing about HighLevel. We're always innovating what needs to be innovated on the platform. It is just incredible what has changed. Okay, handling objections. Really quick, really quick, guys.
Yeah. And by
It's
the way,
important.
JC, you don't have to rush. We have time. I want to make
Okay.
sure the folks
All right, good.
understand everything.
All right, good. So I'm gonna slow down a little bit because this is key, because you will get objections one way or the other. All right. I got objected a lot in college. And so I've learned how to overcome objections, right? So the first thing is empathy. All right. You got to acknowledge whatever feeling they've got. Now, you don't have to agree with it. You got to acknowledge it. So when someone says, hey, that's really expensive, right? This is a common problem they have. You have to acknowledge it. Hey, I completely understand, like we really have to be careful with the money that we're investing, especially as entrepreneurs. I'm an entrepreneur with you. So the step one is empathy. Too many of us forget the empathy thing. This is a problem that is preventing someone from taking action. So even if it's not big to you, it is big to them. The second thing, guys, is to ask questions. I'm going to tell you guys a story if I can. So I was, my entry into the agency world, I spoke a little bit about it on day one, was I went to work for an agency and I became the head of all of service. And we had thousands of clients, 350 employees. Like it was a lot. My favorite thing to do, because I'm someone that I like to lead from the front, was I love taking retention calls. And I got very arrogant I was to the point, Paulson, I would tell people, don't tell me anything, just give me the call. And I would just retain whatever it took to retain, ethically, whatever it took. And I'm a talker. So I got on with this sweet woman one time, and she was already a client. So this was an objection. This was an objection, as a client wanting to cancel with us. And I got on with her. She said, JC, I just don't see the value in working with you. It's kind of basically what she said. And I just went right into response. I said, well, Miss Bethel, I can't, but like, what do you mean you don't see the value? Can I do a screen share with you? I'd love to just jump on Zoom. Yeah, that's fine. She was a super sweet woman. We jumped on Zoom and I went on, and I probably talked for 22 minutes without letting her speak. I asked her a couple of questions. She'd answer and I'd keep on going. I think at one point I was so arrogant and foolish in my young age. I think I even just did a horrible thing. I think at one point I said, Miss Paulson, I just don't know. It's customers like you. I just don't know how we could ever please. And like just trying to guilt trip her. And it was a terrible thing. Finally, this sweet woman said, JC, I don't think you understand. I said, no, I understand. Like this is really, no, JC, listen. I don't think you understand. I literally don't know what you guys are doing. I've tried to call, I've tried to text, no one's answering, no one's responding to my emails. Turns out that we had let go her account manager and her business. We had an engineer working on the actual account, but there was no account manager assigned to it. I thought her problem, those of you that have been married longer than a couple of years, you know this. Sometimes your spouse will get frustrated with you, like, JC, you didn't come home. And coming home was not the actual problem. I need to ask questions. And I've learned that the more you ask questions, then you get to the actual problem. So Paulson tells me, man, it's just really expensive. So you start asking questions. You start asking about, well, where is the investment? What percentage? What is the revenue? What do you think? If money wasn't the issue, like, would you want to join? And then you get back to the confirmation. A confirmation typically will say, okay, so Paulson, what I really hear you saying that you just don't see the value in what I'm doing here. And you're waiting for them to confirm, yes, that is it. Okay, honey. So what the real problem is that I've been gone for like 3 weeks and we just haven't been able to spend any time together. Okay, what the real problem is that we're getting tons of calls. We're just not converting them. Okay, what you're really saying is that we're getting lots of leads, you're getting on the phone call, but you're having trouble closing them for some. You hear what I'm saying? It's normally what I hear you saying is here's really the problem. Now, once you get that confirmation, now and only now is it time to respond. Here's a pro tip for you. Sometimes, especially as salespeople, we're too quick to respond, even when we've already confirmed. There are so often times, because Paulson just told me his big problem. This is why he will not take action. Your client just told you this is why they want to cancel. They have a big problem. And yet you're going to solve it in 2 minutes. There's so often, just pro tip here, where even if I have the response, because I've done this enough and I've heard the complaint or the frustration or the whatever a billion times, I go, Paulson, that's a really good point. Do you mind? I want to think about this a little bit. I want to talk to our product guy. I want to talk to my mentor. I want to chat with HighLevel a few minutes. Can we have a chat tomorrow on this? Can I follow up with you? So now I'm putting the same amount of value on this problem that my customer is potentially, right? And so I have learned that, again, the bigger that complaint is, and that is not the logical side of the complaint, right? We went back to logical emotional. It's not the logical side, it's the emotional side. It's not, JC, I can't afford it. It's the, dude, JC, I'm trying to get my kids through college. I can't afford it, right? That emotional strength of the objection is going to determine how long I take to respond. Okay, and then I respond, whatever, however we want to respond. A lot of times, guys, sometimes it is, you got to realize that objections, and I do this, man, I'm dealing with so many things in my life. My conversation with Paulson is about 50% on my conversation with Paulson, and it's 50% based on everything else I have going on in my life. How stressed I am, how prepared I am, how everything I am, that my kid just got a call from the principal's office because of X, Y, and Z. And once you start to realize that your conversation, the objections that you're getting is only about 50% based on the actual interaction, and more so or equally as much based on the other stuff, now you give yourself freedom to have sympathy and empathy for that person so that you can go, okay, you know what? Let's chat about this tomorrow. Hey, maybe it's not the right time to do this. Hey, let me go back. I think I can get creative with the solution here. Da 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 da. Right. So you acknowledge the problem, don't agree, but acknowledge. You ask questions until you've gotten to a little bit of the root of the actual issue. You then confirm the issue. Paulson, this is what I hear you saying. And then now and only now are we going to respond. Make sense?
I love that. My biggest takeaway is matching the energy of the client, right? If they're in a
Yeah.
urgent energy, you essentially want to lean in urgently, right? If they're in a casual energy, you don't need to lean in urgently in a way to,
Yeah.
you're like overpowering them when they don't really need much, right? So there is a art in that in the account management side. It is a skill that you develop. Um, and I would say practice makes perfect. Like you have to get through a couple of bad accounts to get better at customer service, couple of bad scenarios to get through
Yeah.
and get better at account management. And one thing I'll tell you and invite all of you to think about is why does someone like Sean Clark or Robin or someone like Verone, someone who's building a massive business, right? Why would someone like that jump on a call with a 14-day trial as a software company? Why does that happen, right? Of course, there's a feedback thing, but in reality, we have, massive affiliates that work with us with big endorsement deals or whatnot or whatever, but we treat all customers the same, whether they pay us one penny or not, right? And that is one of the biggest pillars I've personally learned at high level. It's like you treat every customer like they're worth millions of dollars, and it's all about being receptive. It's not about being responsive, right? A lot of us in account management, we're trying to figure out a way to respond, justify. But in reality, they just want you to listen. And that's it. Just you don't even need to respond half the time. It's like, yeah, I see where you're coming from, and
That's
that's
right.
it.
That's it. That's it. Hey, let me work on that. I get it. So that's right. And I think especially when it comes to sales process, and especially if you're in the beginning, you're trying to rush, you're really needing that sell, whatever. Again, tortoise and the hare scenario here. Hey, go back, give them that time that they want you to take to make sure that you're guiding them in the right direction. So, okay.
Love it. So let's move forward. What other items do you have for us to kind of just remember as we kind of close out?
So I close out everything, guys. Love covers a multitude of sins. What Paulson just had, he said he was ahead of my slide here, guys. We talked about levels of service on day one. You are going to F this up so much in your first, second, third phase. You just will because you just haven't had the experience. We all do. That's a natural part. But the more you can build rapport, serve, communicate, right? This I don't know, billion-dollar, trillion-dollar company CEO gets on the call with 14-day trials. Why? Because he loves and cares about his people, and it shows all the way through. And HighLevel has had so many flaws along the way. I think I can say that because they're a growing company, and we don't care because we know they fix them so quick, because we know that they're innovating it so much, because we know that they're pressing every barrier, because we know that they've made so many of us so wealthy and so much money utilizing their tech, right? Because again, love covers a multitude of sins. If you serve people, it can be huge. Guys, there's two giveaways that I know we're sending you guys. So two things. Number one, this virtual event snapshot. All right. If you're not doing virtual events, you have to do them. So take this. It's a full snapshot. It's got a playbook, everything you need to launch your first virtual workshop. In the virtual one, I think it's a little bit easier to screw it up. Like it's not quite as big of a deal. And so I'd highly recommend that. I do recommend finding strategic partners to help push it out and things of this nature. Really easy to work with those associations. The second thing, guys, is I'm going to give you this virtual assistant, this 90-day game plan on like hiring and virtual assistants. It's not about the virtual assistants. This is actually a template for a lead magnet that we use. All right. So I want you to look at this lead magnet. I give you permission. You can take anything I give you and take my face off and put yours on. You can reframe it, you can rebuild it, or you can just use it as a guide to build something for you. Virtual assistants are something that a lot of small businesses care about. Okay, well, chat GBTs and social media prompts are something a lot of small businesses care about. These are things we can give away to add value, to serve before we receive, right? And so we'll be getting both of those to you guys. And again, this 30-day trial, right? This is a huge opportunity. I think you could be paying for the technology before the end of the 30 days. All right. This is one of the best investments that we ever made, not only from a technology, not only from a money, but like we love this community. And I think you're going to find a community at HighLevel. There is I run events. I am a competitor of HighLevel when it comes to events per se, right? HighLevel's event is so much fun. It's not even funny. Level Up Summit, like the community is incredible. They'll put the link in the deal here. There's also a QR code here. sign up for that 30-day trial. If you have a question, a concern, a thought, you want my opinion without Paulson around because you think it's biased, like shoot me a private message and I'll let you know. Karen and I are really, by the way, we have never, I don't think we've ever endorsed a product outside of companies we own. I think this is the only one we've ever done, like publicly, right? Because we believe so much in the opportunity because it filters back to that commitment I told you on day one. Like Karen and I are truly committed to creating stability with moms and dads. And what better tool way to generate revenue, but also generate flexibility in your home. So 30-day trial. Any
Love it.
questions, thoughts? Paulson,
Yeah,
am I
I
missing
love it.
anything?
No, you're good. So, Jordan, who runs our community team, by the way, big shout out to Jordan. He's been just staying
Amazing.
on for hours and hours with his team as well. Big shout out to everybody on his team as well. We've never done a double workshop like this, I don't think, in the same day. So we did like 6 sessions almost, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours each day. It was quite a lot, but it was
Yep.
fruitful in my eyes because we know we're moving the needle for a lot of customers directly. So Jordan's gonna put together and drop our customer facing resources drive. It's a Google Drive that we create for a lot of our virtual events. And a lot of these things JC and Karen have mentioned throughout all 3 days, we'll drop all these collaterals and everything into that Google Drive. The only thing is, I promise you, if you don't have a HighLevel account, you won't be able to install the snapshots and stuff like that. Like
Right.
that's a proprietary thing. So jump into the 30-day trial. I promise you. And for those of you that also, by the way, if you're like Paulson, I don't even care about the trial. Can I spend time with somebody one-on-one and just set up my account? If you are in a mode like that, just message me and we'll send over a link to a dedicated resource. Obviously, it's a person or a team that will jump on a Zoom call with you and set up your account with you. That's something that I think we could do for those of you that
That's
are
great.
reaching out today or this week. But either way, JC, I don't know if Karen's close by, but I just want to say, is she around?
Oh yeah, she's right here.
Yeah,
She's
yeah.
listening to me.
Let's.
She hears me talk all the time, so she gets annoyed by it.
But I wanted to just first of all, and JB, he's on another call here, but I wanted to just, from both of us as well as the whole high level family, we wanted to say thank you for the hard work y'all put in this week and
Yeah.
more things that you're doing. We're already in conversations about the future, but this was a lot. So we just want to say we appreciate you, the resources you provided. You spent a lot of, I don't know, I feel like we planned a month almost on this stuff.
It's a lot.
Uh, and both of you are going to be coming to the conference
Yeah,
this year,
Of
I'm
course.
assuming.
Wouldn't
of
miss
course.
Okay,
it.
cool.
Be there.
Okay. Well, I just want to say thank you,
Yeah.
on behalf of the whole team. We had a great time doing the Spanish, the English. I think the crowd loved the Spanish, the first ever Spanish event we've ever done. But thank you. For those of you that also want to share that word of appreciation, put a one in the chat or say thank you in the comments, just as a note of gratitude. And the cool thing about the Heights is they have their own community, right? They have I think the digital agency hackers
Mhm.
group, and there's another hackers group, and another one, and there's in-person events.
Just
There's a
follow us on
commit,
Facebook.
yeah,
We're always doing something
We're always
crazy.
doing something. Yeah. The
yeah, and
commitment summit. Yeah. All the things.
there's a commitment conference, and you're part
Yep.
of other conferences as well.
Yep.
But we're excited. Send us home. Final last words from both of you.
Guys, well, go for it.
No, I personally just want to say thank you. I told this to JB, but I'm just so thankful not only for like the opportunity to like share with people, but just like the thought process and the intentionality behind, opening even for the Spanish market. I haven't seen businesses being so aware of the needs of your audience and community and just being so willing to listen and like proactively do something even before you think it's the right time, maybe. I don't know. Like it's just like you guys are like always like above and beyond, going above and beyond, like you were mentioning with Sean. And so we're just so thankful to be part of this. So thank you for taking us into consideration anytime for trainings,
Of
for anything. And
course.
yeah, for everybody that joined us. I think that's yeah, it was
Of
very encouraging to share.
I would say there's a quote that's been going around that I just really like as well. And it goes something along, I'm going to butcher it a little bit. But it's like none of us actually know what we're doing, but some of us do it anyways, right? And
Yeah.
so like you're in this moment that you kind of are like, what do I do? How do I just next step, one foot in front of the other. And I promise you, you will learn so much. And it's something that will I mean, it could change your life, like literally change your life, and so many people. And you just go into the communities, and you just see that there's um, you would never go into a community with such engagement unless there was something really powerful going along, And it's just a really incredible group. So again, any Karen and I love this stuff. It's changed our lives. Like we love this stuff. So we're very busy, but like Sean, as an example for us, if you message us or comment or engage or have a question or a concern or a thought or an idea or a prayer request, whatever, message us and we will do our best to respond, to each and every one of you. I will tell you, if you comment somewhere, I get too many of those notifications, like actually DM me, and then I'm much more likely to respond. And so, yeah, any way we can serve, let us know.
I love it. Well, bye for now, everybody. We appreciate you spending some time. Maybe in case if you only came in today as your first and you want to catch some of the replays, replays will be available in our YouTube channels. There are replay dedicated pages, I believe. And you have the 30-day trial offer, which will expire, I believe, Sunday, if I'm not mistaken. So jump into it. A ton of resources are put behind it. But either way, bye for now.
See you guys.
Bye, guys.